Hello everyone, Stuart here at Castlebank. This is week 4 of Family Gardening and Nature Club, and today's topic we're going to be talking all about birds in the garden and out in nature. So first thing I want to ask you, what's your favourite bird? Do you know all the names of some of the garden birds? Maybe, maybe not. Yeah? What's your favourite one? And then we're going to ask, why is it really important that we have birds in the garden and that we help look after the different birds? First point I can think of as a gardener is lots of birds eat all of the pests, some of the insects we don't like in the garden, things like slugs, aphids that are little green flies that live on some of our plants and suck the sap out of them. So one of the things that we've looked at are plants, trees like this holly. You all know what holly looks like? Spiky green leaves. Trees like this, you get nesting birds. So this is a nest that we've found. It's fallen out of the tree. We've not taken it, don't worry. It's just been used this year and then it's fallen out. And I think this was made maybe by a blackbird or a thrush. And if we look a little bit about what is the bird used to make its nest? I can see twigs, I can see moss, there's little bits of grass in there. So it's made a nice circle. It takes a long time, I'm sure, going and getting little twigs one at a time, making a nice circle with them. And then it's even lined it with some mud. You see that? Nice comfortable mud. And then that's a nice place for it to lay some eggs. And it's the mummy and the daddy birds, they help do this. And then the mummy or the daddy is going to sit on the eggs for about 2 weeks. And then the eggs will hatch. And then again, mummy and daddy will feed the chicks for a few weeks, depending on the type of bird, and then they're off. The young ones will leave the nest. But it all starts with a nice comfortable nest. If they don't have somewhere to make their nest, then they're going to be in trouble. So we need lots of native trees from Scotland. We're going to talk about them in a couple of weeks. Things like holly. Nice cracks and crevices in old trees are really important. Holes in walls are really important for some other birds. And then when there's not many of these things around, we can also put up nesting boxes. So we're going to go and have a wee look at one of the nesting boxes and see what type of birds made a nest in there. Alright, so we're here, we're in these big bushes. There's lots of branches, but there's not really anywhere to make a nest. So what we've done is we've put up a box. So this is a box, and the birds have left now, but can you see it's got a really small hole? And the hole, you just want it to be big enough that the bird can get in and not be chased by things like cats. A cat can't get in and get the birds, right? So this is really good for things like a blue tit. So we'll have a wee look inside and see if there's been a nest in it. Okay, so we're looking inside. Can you see the picture? This is a nest. So I think this is a blue tit. It's been in here and it's made this little nest out of, again, moss and grass that they've went and collected for a long time. It's a lot of work to make a little nest like this. And in here there's been chicks, maybe 5 or 6 chicks, and they might even have more chicks the same year. And now we're going to talk a little bit about food, because what are all these birds eating in and around the garden, out in the countryside, around the farms, in the woodland? Most of them are eating insects. So let's go and have a wee look and see where they're finding the insects. Right, so let's talk a little bit about what the birds are eating, because we want them in the garden and we want them to eat some of the pests, the insects that we don't want. they're going to eat a lot of food in order to raise the chicks during the summer. So we've got this is in your activity pack. This is going to show you some of the different types of birds that you'll find in the garden, or if you come to the park at Castlebank, then you will see some of these. What have we got? We've got a robin. Everyone knows what a robin looks like. We've got a blackbird. We've got a blue tit, and that's what was nesting in the box that we saw before. A great tit. So all of these birds, during the summertime, they're mostly eating insects. If you sit really quietly under a tree like this one, you'll see the blue tits, especially blue ones. They've got a yellow breast and blue wings and a little blue head. And what they do is they'll creep along a branch like this and they'll look for little insects under all this moss and in all the little holes. So yeah, it's really important that you've got trees round about. And then in the winter, they'll also eat some seeds. They would eat things like peanuts. If you put peanuts out in the garden, they'll eat those. Sometimes lots of people put fat balls out during the winter time as well. That's really good for getting these little birds through the winter. Things like blackbirds, if you watch a blackbird, they will be eating lots of earthworms. So you'll see them digging round about the garden, and they'll, especially after rain when all the earthworms come up to the top, they eat loads, and earthworms are really important for the chicks as well. The blackbirds will take them back to the nest and feed the chicks on the nice big juicy worms. Alright, so try and learn some of the birds. If you're really keen, you could buy a nice book like this one that I got from the charity shop, and this is from the RSPB. The RSPB is a big charity that protects the birds in Britain and Scotland. And you've got all the different types of birds in here, and it tells you all sorts. It tells you where they live, what they eat, what they sound like. So sometimes you can't see the birds, but you can hear them, and if you learn the call, then you'll be able to identify that type of bird. One of the last things I want to talk about with birds in the garden is all about water. So birds love to have a bath. They need to clean themselves, get all the dust off them and all of the bits of grass and everything like that. So if you've got a nice water bath in the garden, you can get stand-up ones, but even just a little bucket full of water with some stones in it, you'll get some birds coming and having a bath. So do that, and I'm sure you'll see them coming into the garden. Here we've got a big bowl, and every day see things having a bath in there. It's mostly pigeons. Pigeons love to have a bath in there. Okay, so that's it for this week. I just want to tell you my challenge for this week is for you to make a bird nest. So we've had a look at this one that we think is a blackbird's nest, but I want you to go and make one. Maybe you can use twigs, you can use grass, straw, there's moss in this one, bits of mud maybe. See if you can make a nest that's nice and strong and doesn't fall to pieces. And see how long it takes you as well. And then it'll make you appreciate how long it took the birds to make this one. Alright, so that's it for this week. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.